to Millennium News Hour. I am Tanziba Naurin. In today's bulletin, we will get you detailed news from across the nation and the world. Let's begin with the headlines of the day. Biden and DeSantis joined together in Ian recovery effort. Kidnapped California family including baby found dead. Liz Cheney says Arizona GOP candidates threaten democracy. Biden to mark IBM investment with Democrats in tough races. Global stocks higher after strong US hiring, OPEC oil cuts. At least 66 US clinics have halted abortions, Institute says. Scrubs producer Eric Winberg charged with sex assaults. Russian launches to space from US, first time in 20 years amid tensions over Ukraine. Gunman kills 35 in attack starting at Thai child care center. 21 dead, dozens missing after two migrant ships sink in Greece. Attackers kill 18 in attack on City Hall in southern Mexico. North Korea flies warplanes near South Korea after missile launches. UN Security Council splits again over North Korea missiles. Russian rockets slam into Ukrainian city near nuclear plant. Europe holds 44 leader summit in Prague without Russia. Arrays McNeil win batting titles, judge misses triple crown. And fan who caught Aaron Judge's 62nd HR offered $2 million for ball. Now news in detail. President Joe Biden surveyed the devastation of hurricane-ravaged Florida on Wednesday, promising to marshal the power of the federal government to help rebuild as he comforted local residents alongside Republican Governor Ron DeSantis, a potential 2024 foe. Biden praised DeSantis' handling of the storm recovery as both men who have battled over pandemic protocols and migration as the governor moves a presidential bid, put aside politics for a few days. The state is struggling to recover from the wreckage of Hurricane Ian, which tore through southwestern Florida last week and left dozens dead. Today we have one job and only one job, and that's to make sure the people in Florida get everything they need to thoroughly recover, Biden said in a communique that bore the brunt of Ian's assault. He warned that the rebuilding effort will take months or years. The days after Ian's landfall in Florida have prompted a temporarily detente between Biden and DeSantis, who had spoken on the phone at least 3 times to coordinate recovery efforts. They spent part of Wednesday meeting with area residents and, for Biden, absorbing the full scope of Ian's devastation. A baby girl, her parents and uncle who were kidnapped at gunpoint from their Central California business 2 days ago were found dead Wednesday, the sheriff of Merced County said. Our worst fears have been confirmed, Sheriff Vern Warnke told reporters Wednesday night. About 5:30 p.m., a farm worker found the bodies close together in a Merced County orchard in an extremely rural and remote area, he said. The announcement came after authorities released surveillance video of a man kidnapping 8-month-old Aruhi Theri, her mother Jaslyn Kaur, 27 years old, father Jasdeep Singh, 36 years old, and uncle Amandeep Singh, 39 years old, on Monday. Authorities said they were taken by a convicted robber who tried to kill himself a day after the kidnappings. Investigators, including crime lab technicians from the California Department of Justice, would be processing the crime scene through the night, Warnke said. He didn't immediately supply other details. Investigators were trying to discover a motive for the slings, the sheriff said. Wyoming Representative Liz Cheney on Wednesday said the Republican candidates for Arizona governor and Secretary of State pose a huge risk for democracy because both say they will refuse to certify election results if they don't like the results. Cheney, a prominent critic of former President Donald Trump and one of just 10 U.S. House Republicans who voted to impeach him after the January 6, 2021 attack on the Capitol, made the comments at an event organized by the McCain Institute at Arizona State University. Cheney also leveled broadsides as what she said was a growing Putin wing of the Republican Party who want America to withdraw from the world stage and refuse to defend freedom in other countries. She has spent a lot of time thinking about Arizona and the upcoming elections here. President Joe Biden is ready to celebrate a new $20 billion investment by IBM in New York's Hudson River Valley with two House Democrats running in competitive races in next month's critical midterm elections. Biden is taking part in a Thursday afternoon announcement at the IBM facility in Poughkeepsie, New York. He is expected to hold out the company's plans as part of what the White House says is a manufacturing boom spurred by this summer's passage of a $280 billion legislative package intended to boost the U.S. semiconductor industry and scientific research. Democrats facing tough midterm races have largely avoided appearing with Biden in the lead-up to November's elections. But Biden, whose approval ratings remain underwater, will be joined by two House incumbents in competitive New York races who are bucking the trend, Representative Sean Patrick Maloney and Pat Ryan. Global stock markets advanced Thursday after strong U.S. hiring dampened hopes the Federal Reserve might ease off plans for interest rate hikes, and the OPEC group of oil exporters agreed to output cuts to shore up prices. London, Frankfurt, and Tokyo gained. Hong Kong declined. Mainland Chinese markets were closed for a holiday. Oil prices rose. The euro edged higher but stayed below $1. Wall Street futures edged lower after US stocks fell Wednesday following a report by payroll processor ADP that employers added 208,000 jobs in September. That showed parts of the economy are still strong, giving ammunition to Fed officials who say more rate hikes are needed to cool inflation that is at a 4-decade high. The economy is too strong for the Fed to pivot. The strong start to October is over, said Edward Moya of Wanda in a report. In early trading, London's FTSE 100 was up less than 0.1% at 7,059.11. The DAX in Frankfurt gained 0.7% to 12,610.37, and the CAC 40 in Paris added 0.4% to 6,006.97. On Wall Street, the future for the benchmark S&P 500 index was down 0.2%. That for the Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 0.1%. At least 66 clinics in 15 states have stopped providing abortions since the US Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, according to an analysis released Thursday. The number of clinics providing abortions in the 15 states dropped from 79 before the June 24 decision to 13 as of October 2nd, according to the Guttmacher Institute, a research group that supports abortion rights. All 13 of the remaining clinics are in Georgia. The other states have no providers offering abortions, though some of their clinics are offering care other than abortions. Nationally, there are more than 800 abortion clinics in 2020, the institute said. The new report does not include data on hospitals and physician offices that provided abortion and stopped them after the court ruling. But Jones noted that clinics provide most US abortions, including procedures and dispensing abortion medication. Recent Guttmacher data show just over half of US abortions are done with medication. Eric Weinberg, an executive producer and writer for the hit TV show Scrubs and many others, has been charged with sexually assaulting 5 women that he lured to photo shoots and there could be many more victims, Los Angeles County prosecutors announced Wednesday. Winberg, 62 years old, was arrested Tuesday, nearly a week after he was charged with 18 felony counts including rape, oral copulation, forcible sexual penetration, sexual battery by restraint, false imprisonment by use of violence, assault by means of force likely to cause great bodily injury, and attempted forcible penetration with a foreign object, according to the district attorney's office. He was released that day on a $5 million bond. His arraignment was scheduled for October 25. An email to an agent for Winberg seeking comment wasn't immediately returned. Winberg was charged for alleged attacks between 2014 and 2019. But investigators say they believe there may be other victims of assaults dating back to the 1990s, District Attorney George Gascon said at a news conference. He urged them to come forward. 4 astronauts rocketed toward the International Space Station from a SpaceX ship Wednesday, including the first Russian to launch from the US in 20 years. Alongside NASA and Japanese astronauts despite tensions over the war in Ukraine. The 230-foot Falcon 9 rocket blasted off at noon, taking NASA's Josh Cassada and Nicole Mann, Japan's Koichi Wakata and Russia's Anna Kikina to orbit in a Crew Dragon capsule. The mission, known as Crew 5, is SpaceX's 6th crewed flight under contract from NASA and 8th overall when including private space flights. "We are so glad to do it together," said Kikina, Russia's lone female cosmonaut and the 5th Russian woman to rocket off the planet, offering thanks in both English and Russian. Spasibo. She said she was surprised to be selected after encountering many tests and obstacles during her decade of training. The war in Ukraine has strained the relationship between Russia and the US in space, but the crew's commander, Mann, said all 4 astronauts put politics and personal beliefs aside. Now it's time for global updates. At least 24 children and 11 adults were killed Thursday in an attack that began at a childcare center in northeastern Thailand, authorities said. The gunman then fled the scene, shooting from his car as he drove home, where he killed his wife and child before taking his own life, police said. The initial attack came at about 12:30 p.m. when the man, identified as a former police officer, entered the childcare center in the town of Nongbua Lamphu, authorities said. 19 boys, 3 girls and 2 adults were killed in the building before the assailant fled, according to a police statement. Photos and videos of the scene posted online showed sleeping mats scattered in a preschool room, its floor smeared with blood, with alphabet pictures and other colorful wall decorations. Videos carried the sound of wails as frantic family members wept and watched outside the nursery school building. Ambulances stood by as police and medical workers worked in the schoolyard. According to the Thai media reports, the gunman also used knives in the attack. After the suspect fled, he continued to shoot from his car, hitting several people, Police Major General Paisal Luisombun told the Associated Press. After arriving home, he killed his wife and child before killing himself. According to the Daily News newspaper, police said a total of 2 children and 10 adults died outside the childcare center, including the suspect, his wife and his son. Bodies floated amid splintered wreckage in the water of a Greek island Thursday as the death toll from the sinking of 2 migrant boats rose to 21, with many still missing. The boats went down hundreds of miles apart, in one case prompting a dramatic overnight rescue effort as residents and firefighters pulled shipwrecked migrants to safety up steep cliffs. The deadly incidents stoked tension between neighbors Greece and Turkey, which are locked in a heated dispute over migration and maritime boundaries. The Coast Guard on the eastern island of Lesbos said 16 bodies of young African women and 1 young man were recovered there after a dinghy carrying about 40 people sank. 10 women were rescued, while 13 other migrants were believed to be missing, Coast Guard officials said. Attackers gunned down a mayor, his father, and 16 other people in the southern Mexico state of Guerrero on Wednesday, authorities said. State Attorney General Sandra Luz Valdovinos told Millennium Television late Wednesday that 18 people were killed and 2 were wounded in the town of San Miguel Tatulapan. Among the dead were Mayor Conrado Mendoza and his father, a former mayor of the town, she said. 2 additional people were wounded. Images from the scene showed a bullet-riddled city hall. Later Wednesday, in the neighboring state of Morelos, a state lawmaker was shot to death in the city of Cuernavaca, south of Mexico City. While attacks on public officials are not uncommon in Mexico, these come at a time when the security strategy of President Andrés Manuel López Obrador is being sharply debated. The president has placed tremendous responsibility on the armed forces rather than civilian police for reining in Mexico's persistently high levels of violence. South Korea says North Korea flew 12 warplanes near their mutual border on Thursday, prompting South Korea to launch 30 military planes in response. South Korea's military says 8 North Korean fighter jets and 4 bombers flew in formation. It says the North Korean planes were believed to have conducted air-to-surface firing drills. It says South Korea responded by scrambling 30 warplanes. Earlier, North Korea fired 2 ballistic missiles toward its eastern waters, and South Korea conducted naval drills with the United States and Japan of the Korean Peninsula's east coast in response. Debate over how to handle a North Korean ballistic missile launch over Japanese territory split an already deeply fractured UN Security Council on Wednesday, with Russia and China insisting that US-led military exercises in the region had provoked North Korea into acting. Wednesday's session ended with no agreement on next steps, despite warnings from the US and its allies that the Council's inability to reach consensus on North Korea's record number of missile launches this year was emboldening North Korea and undermining the authority of the United Nations' most powerful body. This Council should be mindful that it is being tested and its credibility is at stake. This Council should act and produce an action that restores its credibility, said Hiroshi Minami, Japan's deputy representative to the UN and one of those unsuccessfully urging the Council back into its formerly unified stand over North Korea's launches. 7 Russian rockets slammed into residential buildings in the southern Ukrainian city of Zaporizhia before dawn Thursday, killing 1 person and trapping at least 5 in the city close to Europe's biggest nuclear power plant, the governor of the mostly Russian-occupied region said. The strikes came just hours after Ukraine's president announced that the country's military had retaken 3 more villages in one of the regions illegally annexed by Russia, the latest battlefield reversal for Moscow. Governor Alexander Staruk wrote on his Telegram channel that many people were rescued from the multi-story buildings, including a 3-year-old girl who was taken to a hospital for treatment. He initially reported 2 people were killed but later said that 1 woman initially thought to have died was saved by doctors. Photos provided by emergency services showed rescuers scrambling through rubble in the wreckage of a devastated building. Regional authorities reported another rocket attack later in the morning, but there were no immediate details of casualties or what was struck. The deputy head of the Ukraine president's office, Kyrylo Tymoshenko, said 10 people had been killed in the latest Russian attacks in the Dnipro, Donetsk, Zaporizhia, and Kherson regions. Leaders from around 44 countries are gathering Thursday to launch a European political community aimed at boosting security and economic prosperity across the continent. Within Russia, the one major European power not invited. The meeting in the Czech capital Prague is the brainchild of French President Emmanuel Macron and is backed by German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. It's taking place amid the backdrop of Russia's war on Ukraine, which began on February 24, and as pressure builds to allow Ukraine to join the European Union. The summit will involve the 27 EU member countries, aspiring partners in the Balkans and Eastern Europe, as well as neighbors like Britain, the only country to have left the EU, and Turkey. This meeting is a way of looking for a new order without Russia. It doesn't mean that we want to exclude Russia forever, but this Russia, Putin's Russia, has not a seat, EU Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell told reporters. Now a look of today's sports stories. Minnesota's Luis Ariz got a Louis Vuitton roller bag from Carlos Correa. The New York Mets' Jeff McNeil is being gifted a car by Francisco Lindor. Winning batting titles on the final day of the season was rewarding. "I'm living a dream right now. This is amazing for me because I worked hard for this," Ariz said after edging the New York Yankees' Aaron Judge on Wednesday to become American League batting champion. Ariz finished with a .316 average after going 1-for-1 with a pair of walks against the Chicago White Sox, the lowest average for an AL batting champion since Boston's Carl Yastrzemski at .301 in 1968. Correa gave him the luxury luggage on Wednesday. "He sets an example for us," Ariz said. "He is a leader and I love that guy a lot." Judge was held out by Yankees manager Aaron Boone a day after hitting his AL record 62nd home run to break the Mark Roger Maris set in 1961. Judge missed out on a triple crown. The owner of a sports memorabilia auction house says he has offered $2 million to the fan who caught Aaron Judge's American League record 62nd home run. J.P. Cohen, president of Memory Lane Incorporation in Tustin, California, told the Associated Press on Wednesday that he has texted and emailed Corey Eumans, the man who caught Judge's milestone shot Tuesday night at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. Cohen says Eumans has not yet replied. "I feel the offer is way above fair if he is inclined to sell it," Cohen said in a telephone interview with the AP on Wednesday. Eumans grabbed the historic souvenir on the fly as it sailed into the front row of section 31 in left field. The homer pushed Judge past Roger Maris for the AL season record. Now let's have a look on today's weather chart. That's all in today's news. Keep watching Millennium News 24 for latest updates. Millennium TV USA and Millennium News 24 network is transmitted and available to be watched free for all at TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV and Apple TV. And also in all European countries and Australia available with Sky Network, Worldwide Jadoo TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jago BT Network and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with us for all types of informative and entertainment program. Thank you.